Good day, everyone. Welcome to the orientation for the recruitment and selection guidelines for senior high school teaching positions in the Schools Division of Iloilo City. It is understood that the Equal Employment Opportunity Principle is strictly adhered to in the conduct of this activity. This office highly encourages all interested and qualified applicants regardless of age, gender identity, sexual orientation, civil status, disability, social status, religion, ethnicity, and political affiliations or other personal circumstances to apply. Applicants with disabilities or special needs are encouraged to inform the School Screening Committee or the Human Resource and Management Office upon submission of application so that provisions for their needs could be facilitated. The following are the basis of the Senior High School Hiring Guidelines. DepEd Order No. 3, Series of 2016, also known as the Hiring Guidelines for Senior High School Teaching Positions effective school year 2016-2017. DepEd Order No. 27, Series of 2016, also known as the Qualification Standards for Senior High School Teaching Positions in the Department of Education. Division Memorandum No. 67, Series of 2022, also known as the Recruitment and Selection Process of Teaching Positions for Senior High School for school year 2022-2023. These hiring guidelines can be downloaded at the following link: bit.ly/SDOIC/SHS-Teacher Guidelines. Here are the composition of the screening and evaluation committees in the different levels. Division Selection Committee, chaired by Mr. Danny Clark M. Ugil, OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. Members: Dr. Jerry M. Lego, Chief of the School Governance Operations Division. Dr. Liberty Lego, Education Program Supervisor. Dr. Cynthia Punsalan, Education Program Supervisor. Dr. Michael Marquez, Division EPP-TLE Coordinator. Dr. Teresita Militar, President of the National Association of Secondary Schools of the Philippines. Mrs. Beverly Alimuot, Division Federated PTA President. Ma'am Priscilla Escopel, Vice President, ACT Iloilo City Chapter. And Dr. Nilida Orquinasa, representative from our partner institution. With the Secretariat, Ms. Christine P. Arigorat. To assist the Division Selection Committee, a Division Selection Subcommittee has been created. This is chaired by the Education Program Supervisors of the different subject groups, together with 4 head teachers or master teachers as members. In every senior high school, we have the School Screening Committee chaired by the school head, together with the head teacher for the core or track subjects, 3 teachers from different learning areas, and the president or authorized representative of the School Governing Council or of the Parents Teachers Association as members. The process for recruitment and selection started with the publication of Division Memorandum 67 last July 13, 2022. Today, we're having the orientation of all interested applicants, and this would be followed by the submission or receipt of applications with a deadline on July 29, 2022. The School Screening Committee will undergo the initial evaluation of all applicants on August 1 to 2, 2022, which they would check the completeness, veracity, accuracy, and authenticity of the documents. This would be followed by the comparative assessment of applicants with the Division Selection Subcommittee and Division Selection Committee. Evaluation of documents and determination of points will be conducted, and the evaluation of teaching demonstration and interview. And lastly, we will have the publication of the Comparative Assessment Results Registry of Qualified Applicants or CAR-RQA, which will be used for the appointment of teachers for the senior high school teaching positions in the Schools Division of Iloilo City. This orientation would explain and would make our applicants understand the recruitment, selection, and placement guidelines, as well as the required documents and means of verification which is indicated in the checklist of requirements and evaluation sheet. To submit the application, all applicants are required to register to the department's online system, which is at application.deped.gov.ph, where they must encode the personal data sheet and select the division where they want to be ranked. Once submitted, a unique applicant number will be issued. In the submission of application requirements, the UAN shall be indicated if available. However, if you cannot access the system, which is at application.deped.gov.ph, you can still proceed to the next step of the submission even without the unique applicant number yet. Applicants shall submit to the school head of the senior high school where he or she intends to apply the following documentary requirements on or before July 29, 2022. First, duly accomplished checklist of requirements, which can be found in the enclosure number 2 of the Division Memorandum 67, Series of 2022. Letter of intent addressed to the school's division superintendent, which should include the following information: statement of purpose or expression of interest, the subject group or groups he or she intends to teach, and preferred schools, if any. This is the checklist of requirements for senior high school teacher, new applicant. The checklist would have the first part that would indicate the school where the application documents was submitted together with the date of submission. The second part would require information or personal information from the applicant, which would be their name, the unique applicant number if available, the address, which would specify the street, the barangay, and the city or municipality, and the contact number or details of the applicant. The third part would identify the different subject group or groups that the applicant would intend to teach. Here, the applicant may check as many groups of which he or she is qualified to teach. Part 4 of this document of the checklist for requirement is the list of the different documents to be submitted by the applicant. The third column would be accomplished by the applicant and would be marked check or X, depending if the document is available or not. Then the last column would be accomplished by the screening committee, of which they will check the completeness, the veracity, and authenticity of the documents submitted by the applicant. For the old or previous applicants, here's the checklist of requirements. Parts 1, 2, and 3 are the same for the new applicants, while Part 4 have only the different required documents in order for our applicants to retain or to update their scores. Still the same, the applicants will accomplish this form to check or to mark X if the documents were submitted or not submitted. Then the screening committee will use the last column to verify the completeness, the veracity, and the authenticity of the documents. The checklist of requirements can be downloaded at the following link: bit.ly/sdoic teacher app checklist. For new teacher applicants, they can download the checklist _SHS teacher _new file. For our old and previous teacher applicants, they can download the checklist _SHS teacher _old file. Together with the checklist and the letter of intent, the following documents shall be submitted by the applicants. Third, duly accomplished personal data sheet. Fourth, photocopy of the PRC Professional Identification Card or certification from PRC showing the name, let rating, and other information recorded at the office of the PRC. Photocopy or certified copy of voter's ID or any proof of residency as deemed acceptable by the selection committee, NBI clearance, and the omnibus certification of authenticity and veracity of all documents submitted signed by the applicant. For education, the following documents may be submitted: photocopy of diploma and bachelor's degree, photocopy of transcript of records with at least 15 units of specialization in relevant strand or specialized subject. Certificate of General Weighted Average issued by the school registrar. For teaching, industry, or work experience, the following documents may be submitted: copies of service records, performance rating, and school clearance for those with teaching, industry, or work experience. Certified photocopy of certification of status of employment or service record from HEI or TBI faculty. For training, certificates of specialized trainings. For those applying for Group 4 or for TVL, a photocopy of TESDA National Certificate and Trainer's Methodology Certificate. For those applying for the sports and the arts, you may submit a certified photocopy of certification of proficiency or recognition from recognized and acceptable relevant associations, organizations, or guild. For outstanding accomplishments, the applicants may submit a copy of their published work, a copy of innovations or research conducted, or a certified photocopy of the awards or recognitions received. The following are the senior high school subject groups. Group 1A is for English subjects, which would include oral communication, reading and writing, English for academic and professional purposes, and practical research. Group 1B are the Filipino subjects, which would include komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wika at kulturang Pilipino, pagbasa at pagsusuri ng iba't ibang teksto sa pananaliksik, at pagsulat sa Filipino sa piling larangan. Then, Group 1C is for the Humanities and Social Sciences, which would include subjects such as literature from the Philippines and the world, contemporary Philippine arts, understanding culture, society, and politics, philosophy of the human person, and other HUMS subjects. Group 1D, Media, Information Literacy, and Empowerment Technologies, or the ICT subjects of the senior high school. Group 2, which is for ABM, or Accounting and Business Management and Entrepreneurship subjects. Group 3A, we have the math subjects for the senior high school. Group 3B are the science subjects for senior high school. Group 4 are the technical, vocational, and livelihood subjects. 4A is for agri-fisheries. 4B for industrial arts. 4C for ICT. And 4D for home economics. Group 5 are subjects that would include sports, physical education and health, personal development, and other specialized sports subjects. Group 6 is for the arts and design specialized subjects. For old or previous teacher applicants who wish to retain the points they obtained in the previous ranking, specifically in the last 3 school years, they are advised to write a letter of intent addressed to the school's division superintendent with a copy furnished to the school screening committee. Assigned points shall be incorporated in the CAR RQA upon validation by the HRMPSB. If an applicant would like to update specific points in any criterion, that should be indicated in their letter of intent, supported by documents, and should go through the ranking process in that particular criterion. Duly accomplished checklist of requirements, photocopy of the individual score sheet or RQA shall be attached to the letter of intent to be submitted to the school head of a senior high school where he or she intends to apply. These documents shall be enclosed in a white folder and must be properly labeled using side tabs. The cover of the folder shall bear the name of the applicant, school where the documents were submitted, and the subject group which he or she intends to teach. Now, if you think you are qualified to teach different subject groups, separate folders shall be submitted. The folders would have the following side tab labels: checklist, letter of intent, personal information, education, teaching or industry experience, training, and outstanding accomplishments. Again, the cover should bear the name of the applicant, the school where the documents were submitted, and the subject group where you intend to teach. And of course, side labels would contain the different areas or group of documents for evaluation. Late documents shall not be accepted after the deadline, which is July 29, 2022, unless required or authorized by the HRMPSB for further validation. The applicant assumes full responsibility and accountability for the authenticity and veracity of the documents submitted, as evidenced by the omnibus word statement duly signed by the applicant. Any false and fraudulent documents submitted shall be grounds for disqualification. The school screening committee will now proceed to the next stage of the recruitment and selection, which is the initial evaluation of applicants. They shall receive and verify the completeness, veracity, accuracy, and authenticity of the documents submitted by the applicants. The list of applicants together with the documents shall be submitted to the HRMPSB on or before August 2 of 2022. Then, we will proceed to the comparative assessment of applicants according to the points and criteria indicated in Depth Order Number 3 of 2016 with the following criteria: education, teaching, industry or workplace experience, specialized training, interview, English communication skills, portfolio or outstanding achievements, and demonstration teaching. The point system for the different subject groups is different. For academic and core subjects, which belongs to groups 1, 2, and 3, education is 20 points, experience is 15, specialized training is 10, interview is 15, English communication skills is 10, portfolio or outstanding achievement is 10, and demonstration teaching is 20, total of 100. However, for groups 4, 5, and 6, which are the TVL, the Arts and Design and Sports, the following are the point system. For TVL, 15 points for education, 20 points for experience, 20 points for training, 15 for interview, 5 for English communication skills, 10 for the portfolio or outstanding achievements, and 15 for demonstration teaching, also a total of 100 points. For Arts and Design, 15 points for education, 20 points for experience, 15 points each for training, 15 points also for interview, 5 points for the English communication skills, 15 points for portfolio and outstanding achievements, and 15 points for demonstration teaching, a total of 100 points. The HRMPSB, through the Division Selection Subcommittee of the different subject groups, shall inform the applicants of their schedule for demonstration teaching and interview, of which they would be evaluated using the rubrics indicated in Depth Order Number 3, Series of 2016. The School Management, Monitoring and Evaluation Section, or the Division Testing Coordinator, will inform the applicants of their schedule for the English Proficiency Test that would be administered by the Bureau of Education Assessment. Each applicant shall be given an opportunity to ask questions and seek clarifications on the result of their individual assessment and acknowledge receipt of their individual results. Upon receipt of the individual results, applicants shall affix their signature on the individual evaluation sheet. These would serve as the acknowledgement that indeed they have undergone the application and assessment process based on the guidelines and that the results of the individual assessment have been discussed with the concerned applicant. The Division HRMPSB shall prepare and submit to the School's Division Superintendent the duly signed Comparative Assessment Result, Registry of Qualified Applicants or CAR-RQA. The CAR RQA shall contain only the candidates who have met the cutoff score, which is 70 points. The CAR RQA is intended for a specific school year and can only be used and valid for the duration of the school year wherein it is prepared. It shall be utilized in filling up positions that are created or being vacant in the middle of the school year, provided that the HRMPSB shall reconvene to deliberate and update the CAR RQA by identifying candidates who were already appointed. A copy of the CAR RQA would be published in 3 conspicuous places in the division office or in the schools for a period of at least 10 calendar days. Now let us go to the timeline for the recruitment and selection process. The organization of the screening and selection committees was done already last July 15, 2022. Submission of application letter have started last July 18 and will end on July 29 of 2022. July 19, we had the HRMPSB and the division subcommittee meetings. Then we're having the virtual orientation of interested applicants and the orientation of the school screening committee on July 22, 2022. The school screening committee will evaluate the documents on August 1 and would submit the list of applicants with their documents on August 2, 2022. Demonstration teaching interview would be on August 8 to 12, 2022. However, English proficiency test, the schedule will be announced and a separate memorandum would be issued pertaining to the conduct of the activity. Then by August 15, we'll be now moving to the comparative assessment and evaluation of documents and the next of the different activities in preparation and the finalization of the CAR RQA, which we hope to release by the last week of August, by August 29 or August 30, so that we can have a publication in the next 10 days. Here's the evaluation and selection criteria for senior high school teacher applicants based on DepEd Order Number 3, Series of 2016. As discussed previously, different subject groups have different points in the different criteria for the senior high school teaching positions. So we have point system for the academic group, which is groups 1 to 3. Then we have another point system for the TVL or the group 4. Then another for group 5 and 6, which are the arts and design and sports group. But still, the total points is the same, which is 100 points. For education, using the final percentage rating obtained in tertiary education, we can now identify the equivalent points in the different groups. For example, I am applying for STEM Mathematics, which is group 3A, and my final percentage in my college is 95. That would belong to this group, 94 to 95.99. And my equivalent points is 14 since I applied for group 3A, which is an academic track. However, if I'm going to apply in TVL, let's assume that I have a national certificate for bread and pastry production, that 95 is now equivalent to 10.50. Because if you can remember, in academic subjects, this is 20 points, while in TVL, it's only 15 points, the maximum. So we will use your percentage rating to identify the equivalent points of the subject group which you applied, which you intend that this is the group that you're going to teach and you are qualified to teach on the subject group. Plus points would be given to the following. For academic and core subjects, same with the TVL, arts, and the design and sports, 15 units for a master's degree plus 1 points. Master's degree should be relevant to your track or to the strand or to the subject that you intend to teach. If 18 units, that's plus 2. For academic and core subjects, plus 3 for CAR master's degree, The same also for TBL Arts, Design, and Sports. +4 for MAED and MAT, full-fledged masters for TBL Arts and Design and Sports. +5 for MAED and MAT for academic and core subjects. While +5 for the TBL Arts and Design and Sports for CAR and doctorate degree, or CAR in the doctorate program. CAR doctorate program for academic is +6. For full-fledged PhD, for academic and core subjects, that's +8. While for the TBL Arts and Design and Sports, that's +6. Take note that master's and doctorate degree should be relevant to your specialization and to the track or strand that you intend to teach. For teaching workplace experience, at least 1 year of experience in the field under the track, strand, or subject being applied for shall be given 0.5 point for every month of employment beginning on the 13th month of employment, which means if you have 1 year and 1 month of an experience, the 1 month, the 13th month, is the one that would be given appropriate score. Because if you are required to have 1 year experience, then the succeeding month would be given 0.50 points. So if let's say you have 13 months as an experience, so only 1 month can be credited as a teaching or workplace experience in this criteria. Certificate of employment or business permits shall be used to determine the validity of workplace experience, and practitioners may present other proof deemed acceptable by the Division Selection Committee. Moreover, still in the teaching and the workplace experience, applicants who have performed duties or functions higher than the position being applied for shall be given additional 2 points. For example, a teacher has served as a department head or doing supervisory functions, that would be an additional 2 points for the applicant. Then teaching experience for the displaced HEI faculty shall be given also corresponding additional points. But since the guideline was in 2016, of which we have the transition of the K-12 and that to that of the tertiary education, this point system has been provided to help our displaced and affected HEI faculty. But I think right now in 2022, this HEI faculty has been already hired or absorbed by their HEIs or by other institutions. In assignment of points in the specialized training, 1 point shall be given for every training or seminar or workshop symposium for at least 2 days, and 2 points for every certification from a recognized association or guild, and this should be supported by documents, which means if you have training of 4 days, then you have 2 points because 1 point for every 2 days. Documentary proof of knowledge and using technology or software that may aid in teaching specialization can also be given 2 points on top of the score obtained, but not to exceed 10 points. For arts and design, certifications can be given 2 points coming from fellowships, local arts congress, participation in art exhibits or performances, and certification from any respectable or highly regarded national or international art-related professional organizations. For sports applicants, additional 2 points if they have certificates from Red Cross, having attended the First Aid and Basic Life Support Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation Program, certification as an instructor in a group or individual training, certification from any respectable and highly regarded international physical education, health, fitness, sports, recreation, and dance associations. For TVL applicants, which should have at least hold a national TVET trainer certificate from TESDA, national certificate is included in here, and it should be at least 1 level higher than the course to be taught and the trainer's methodology certificate, TMC1 or TMC2. However, for those subject offerings which don't have any higher national certificate, the national certificate of the applicant, which is even equal to the NC of the course to be offered, since there's no much higher NC about that can be accommodated already. So one example in here is that the NC level requirement of course to be taught, let's say it's NC2, so the applicant should have NC3 to get 19 points, or else he or she would only get 0 points. However, again, if there's no higher NC level than that being offered, then points can be given to the applicant. For courses that have no NC level higher, a maximum of 20 points shall be given to the applicants as indicated. Those with TMC1 will receive plus 3 points. Those with TMC2 will receive plus 4 points. Moving to the interview, questions in the interview may focus on K-12 program, professional experience, instructional skills, technology or computer skills, classroom discipline, classroom management, knowledge of content and materials, planning skills, relationships with administration, staff, parents, and students, and personal qualities. The applicants in the different competencies would be evaluated using these rubrics and would be rated as outstanding or 5 points, very satisfactory or 3 points, and satisfactory or 1 point. And here are the 3 competencies. We have teaching ability, which would include how they convey ideas and information clearly, reflecting on successes and failures, and to provide reasonable examples of effective lesson planning, how to make content meaningful, how to make goals of our students more concrete and ambitious, how to address multiple and varied needs of our students, and how to maintain high expectations for students when confronted with setbacks. Next is the classroom management, of which applicants in here can explain the accountability of the teacher for classroom environment and culture, to discuss with deep understanding the unique and emerging needs of adolescent students and the potential challenges involved in teaching in senior high school, to convey willingness to try innovative or multiple strategies to address challenges, and to provide examples for encouraging student positive behavior, dealing effectively with negative student behavior, or strategies to deal with uncommon classroom management challenges. And the last competency is the school fit, of which here applicant may interact with the interviewer in an appropriate or professional manner, to show respect for opinions of others, to express personal and professional expectations or preferences that are in line with the school culture, to show appreciation of how families impact student performance, and to provide examples of strategies for creating positive relationships with administrators, faculty, and students, and interests and skills that match the school's culture and needs. For each of the competencies, the points would be added all together to get the rating for the interview. For English communication skills, which should be administered by the Bureau of Education Assessment, what they would be providing as a result is the percentage score of the applicant. So this would be multiplied to the weighted points of the different track, like 10 points for academic track, 5 points for TVL, arts, design, and sports, so that we can be able to get the rating of the applicant in these different subject groups. For portfolio and outstanding achievements, these would include published work, innovations and research, awards, recognitions received. Corresponding points can be given to sub-national level or the regional level, national level, and international level. If the applicant exceeds 10 points upon computation of the 2 or more submissions, a perfect rating of 10 shall be given. For practitioners, these different documents can be submitted also, like business permits, proof of proficiency, recognition from a duly recognized body or guild, then accreditation, which can also give you different points in the subnational or regional level, national level, or international level, a maximum of 5 points. Then we have teaching demonstration. All senior high school teacher applicants can choose the topic or competency for his or her teaching demonstration. You are given 30 minutes to do the teaching demonstration with 15 students. Since we don't have classes anymore and we are not offering limited face-to-face classes, teachers will act as students for the teaching demonstration activity. 3 copies of the lesson plan shall be submitted by the applicant, and the use of technology is highly encouraged. If the applicant submitted and has the intention to teach on the different subject groups, then the applicant will also do teaching demonstration on each of the subject groups which he or she intends to apply. Here's the rubrics for teaching demonstration. First component is lesson planning and preparation. That would include selecting instructional objectives, mapping of coherent instruction, instructional materials, resources, and technology. Second component, classroom management, which would include managing classroom procedures, organizing physical space. Third component, teaching learning process, which would include knowledge of content and pedagogy. Questioning and discussion skills. Students' learning. For the fourth component, we have the use of language and conveyance of information and ideas. Fifth component, assessment of learning outcomes, which would cover congruence with instructional objectives. Assessing student learning. And the last, reinforcement of learning, which would include providing opportunities to strengthen students' written work, performance tasks, and quarterly assessment. The points attained for each of the 15 listed components shall be added and divided by 60. The quotient shall be then multiplied by 0.20 or 20% for academic track, or 0.15 or 15% for TBL, arts, design, and sports, and the product shall then be multiplied to 100 to get the equivalent rating for teaching demonstration. The cutoff score to be included in the Comparative Assessment Result Registry of Qualified Applicants, or CAR-RQA, is 70 points. Those who got 70 points may be hired, may be appointed to the different senior high school teaching positions if they are qualified. On the screen are the qualification standards for senior high school teaching positions for academic track. One example is if you are in Teacher 2. Teacher 2, if you have a bachelor's degree with education, or rather bachelor's degree with a major in relevant strand or subject, or any bachelor's degree plus 6 units in master's degree relevant to your strand or subject. Or you can proceed directly to Master Teacher 1 if you have a master's degree which is relevant to the strand or subject. However, this would depend if item is available. If there's vacancy in that item, then you can be placed on this position if you have the qualification standards. This is also the same for our sports track. And for our TVL track, of which training requirements in here is NC2, TMC1, for teachers 1 and 2. Teacher 3, you have their NC3 and TMC1. Master Teacher 1 in TVL should have NC4 and TMC1. These guidelines is for our new teachers, new applicants for senior high school teaching positions, as well as to our present and current senior high school teachers who would like to be promoted to higher teaching positions in the senior high school group. These are the venue for the teaching demonstration, skills demo, and interview. Group 1A and Group 1B at Iloilo City National High School. Group 2 and Group 3A at La Paz National High School. Group 3B at Fort San Pedro National High School. Group 1C at Halandoni Memorial National High School. Group 1D and Group 4, Halandoni Memorial National High School. And Group 5 and Group 6 at Fort San Pedro National High School. The Division Selection Subcommittee will get in touch with you and inform you of the schedule for your demonstration, teaching demonstration, and interview. If you have questions, clarifications, and queries that you would like to be answered, you can send your questions at bit.ly/stoic/SHS Teacher Orientation. We hope that this video orientation have clarified the different aspects of the recruitment and selection process for the senior high school teaching positions. Thank you everyone for joining in this video orientation, and we hope that you'll be able to submit your documents on the deadline according to the guidelines as discussed in this orientation. Thank you everyone, and good day.